Hi, I'm Sandra Wheatley, SVP at Fortinet, and today I'm joined by my colleague, Renee Turin, who is Deputy CISO at Fortinet and is also the author of a new book called Cyber Safe, A Dog's Guide to Internet Security. Hi, Renee, and thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me, Sandra.
We're very excited to have you here, and we're very excited to hear more about this new book. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Sure. The book really aims to raise cyber awareness amongst children in the elementary and middle school ages. It takes readers on a journey to learn how they can stay secure online. It takes common practices that we do in the physical world to stay safe, like, think wearing your bike helmet, wearing the seatbelts in the cars, or even getting your vaccines. It makes similarities to the cyber world. The book is centered around my cyber smart dog, Lacey, who teaches her cat friend, Gabby, how to use the internet safely. The book provides an easy to understand introduction to the possible dangers for children when they're connecting online for whatever reason, whether that's for school, for games, or just connecting with their friends. The book also includes a guide for parents with details on what they need to be looking out for when their kids are online. Oftentimes parents can, think that kids are more tech savvy than they are. And in some cases, that may be true. But knowing how to use the technology doesn't necessarily mean that kids know how to use the technology safely. So therefore, parents also need to be aware. Being a parent myself of 2 young kids, I know the importance of ensuring kids stay safe wherever they go, and that includes being online. And now that they spend more time than ever before online, it's important that we teach kids to stay safe at a young age before the bad habits can form. And since Fortinet, we're very focused on raising cyber awareness through various skills gaps training initiatives. This project was a natural extension to these efforts.
Now, I know there's been a lot of excitement about this book, especially even with our own employees. They've had a preview of the book and the feedback has been extremely positive. What made you decide that now was a good time to publish this book?
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with some of the key risks that we're seeing with kids and parents that need to be aware of, with kids being on the internet. When you think about, the identity theft is running rampant, and kids are a prime target for identity theft. It's very lucrative for cyber criminals to take the identity of kids and establish credit, because oftentimes, kids don't have that established credit. And when it comes to stealing the identity of kids, it can take months, if not years, to detect. So really protecting their personal information has now been more important than ever. Also, falling victim to malicious sites. A lot of times children are being lured to go into these sites that are offering, free things like games. But many times these sites are downloads are for malicious software, things like spyware and ransomware. And that once these kids download, this malicious software, they're downloading onto their family computers, the same computers that, are being used by their parents for doing their online banking. In addition, we're seeing about 50% of kids that either have been a victim or they've contributed to some form of cyberbullying. And so ensuring that kids, don't participate in that type of behavior and tell an adult if they find themselves being a victim of cyberbullying. And then last but not least, of course, child predators. We see them routinely using online methods to prey on kids, for much more sinister things.
Yeah, as a parent, this is something that I've been extremely aware of. And I feel that, there are different risks based on the different ages. It may be young children now, schooling remotely. It may be your teenage child. And I know Fortinet has rolled out our NSC 1 and NSC 2 training courses to help make high school children more aware of some of the risks. And now this book is really targeting a younger age group. So what are some of the best practices that you cover in the book, or some advice you would have for children and their parents to keep them safe?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the books really focuses on teaching kids, some of the fundamentals of good cyber hygiene, like, keeping their devices up to date with security patches, using strong passwords. Some of that same advice that we give, parents still today. It also teaches kids about keeping their personal details private, by encouraging them not to share, their real names, their addresses, where they go to school, photos, or other personal identified information to strangers online. It's important that kids know that, once information is put out there in the public domain, it can be very hard to remove. Also, it teaches kids that, you may not really know who you're communicating with online. You may think that you're talking to another kid, but it could actually be an adult with nefarious intentions, posing as a child. So kids really need to understand that they should never meet up with a person, someone that they've met online. And lastly, they shouldn't be posting or responding to hurtful posts. It's important that we all be good neighbors online. And if they do see something that makes them upset or uncomfortable, then they should talk to their parents or another trusted adult about it.
Excellent. I think that's great advice, Renee. What's some of the advice you would give to parents? What should they be thinking about as their children are online today?
Yeah, first and foremost, it's really establishing the clear rules for children and teens to follow. For example, creating lists of approved websites and applications, or requiring, parental approval for certain activities. Parents should consider keeping, their computers in open common areas so that if they see certain behaviors, then they can intervene if something really bad happens. In addition, many internet service providers offer parental controls, sometimes for free. So they may want to look into leveraging these type of controls to prevent kids from really going to inappropriate websites. And be sure that parents understand who the kids are communicating with online, and that they know that they really should be prioritizing their privacy. You should really be talking to your family about being cautious, kind of like what I said before about some of those fake and malicious websites, and potential scams such as phishing attempts, and making it clear that no one should click on any suspected links or unexpected attachments. And then finally, have the conversation with kids that, again, if they see something, then they need to say something that makes them uncomfortable. Then let them know that they can come to you as their parents to discuss it.
Great. Thank you, Renee. Finally, how can middle schools and elementary schools benefit from this book?
Yeah, I think this book can, really be a valuable resource for schools to teach kids about online safety. It leverages, relatable, kid-friendly characters and lays out the information in an easy-to-understand format. So for schools that have formalized cyber awareness programs, they can use this book as a part of their programs. And for those that don't yet have those programs in place, they can really leverage this book to really start that conversation with their students and parents.
Right. Well, Renee, I really appreciate you sharing more about the CyberSafe book. Again, it's a fantastic book. We've had a great response to this. And one of the goals with this book, from a CSR perspective, is to provide it to as many underserved schools as possible. So if you're an eligible school, please reach out to request a free copy or copies of the book, or you can also purchase a book at the website link. Thank you.